Hola clase. In this unit, we will be looking at two prepositions, por and para. These prepositions are tricky for English speakers, in part because sometimes they both translate as the preposition for, F-O-R, but they're never synonymous. They can't be used in the same context. Whenever we see these pairs of words like saber en conocer or ser en estar, you know that in Spanish there are some specific rules that govern when you use one versus the other. So we've tried to break it down into some categories. This is a little bit different in presentation to what you may be accustomed to if you've had Spanish before, where all the rules are kind of just listed side by side all together. So here we've tried to break it a little bit into concepts. So for instance, how do we use por and para when we're dealing with time, the concept of time? You'll be surprised that there's quite a few rules, or rather examples of when you use each. So for example, duration, instance, general time, or around a certain time, you would use por. Deadline, time, or date, you would use para. So read through those. You could make index cards if you wanted to, but these are also in Quizlet, separated by categories. So if you scroll down, and we'll get to there eventually as well, you can see that the Quizlet flashcards that we've made for you guys are by category. So you can practice the category of time. Same with the category of place. So when we're talking about place, we use por, meaning along, by, through, or around, and para is to or towards. So para is direction towards. Voy para el aeropuerto, going to the airport or towards the airport, and all the other relationships with space or place are por. We also use por and para with people. And so here they both mean for, and this is where it's confusing for English speakers. So for, meaning to get, cause instead of, or the agent of the passive, are all por. And beneficiary, recipient, the employment of, comparison, opinion, are all para. A couple of examples. Pasaremos por Juan antes de ir al cine. We'll stop by for Juan before going to the movies. Sí puedo trabajar por ti este viernes. Yes, I can work for you this Friday. Those are uses of por. El mapa es para turistas solamente. O las calles son para todos. These are recipient or beneficiary. Bien, son para. With actions, with the infinitive, remember from previous several units where we've studied prepositions before, you know that in Spanish, the only verb form that can follow a preposition is the infinitive. So with infinitives, por points to cause, means, or manner, and for, meaning to get something, with ir, or in exchange for something. So exchange as well. Whereas para indicates goal, objective, or desired result. So you can have some examples there. Estudié medicina por mis padres. I studied medicine because of my parents. Bien, if you said estudié medicina para ser doctor, it would be in order to be a doctor. So por points to the cause of something, and para points to the goal you expect to achieve from something. ¿Está bien? Again, we also use por and para with numbers. So here, por is multiplication, rate, cost, percentage. Para is division, similar to entre. So 6 para 2 son 3, 4 por 8 son 32. Por and para, por and para. Bien. We also look at por en para with ser and estar. You can read through those to get those rules. Por en para with interrogatives. These are usually set interrogatives. ¿Por qué versus para qué, para cuándo, and with some set phrases. Of course, there are many, many set phrases with por. Por is the much more numerous one. There are a few with para as well. So you can study these. These simply should be memorized as set phrases, as idiomatic phrases. Some common ones, por suerte, luckily, por supuesto, of course, por gusto, and por favor, obviously, that you learned way back when. Probably your first lesson in Spanish, you already learned por favor or something similar. Para, you have para bien o para mal, para variar, para colmo, etc. Bien. So when you practice on Quizlet, you'll practice, I had said there's a section for each one. I was mistaken. We've paired them, things that are similar. So time and place, those two sections are in one study stack on Quizlet. Same with people and actions, numbers, ser and estar, all of the above, and interrogatives / set phrases. The reason we separated all of the above is because those are rule-based. You can learn the rules for those, whereas interrogatives and set phrases are more like vocabulary. You simply have to learn the forms, and there may not be an underlying rule behind it that you need to worry about. So study those, and then there are just a few exercises for you to try. If you want to practice before going on to doing these activities, you can try these couple exercises that we pointed to you here. Bien, buena suerte. It is complicated, so do spend some time, make your own diagrams, make your own study guide or flashcards, and make sure you practice this. It's something that comes up often. Students often make mistakes, even into second and third year language studies. They make mistakes with por and para. So it's important to get a really good grasp and to get a solid foundation on these two concepts from the beginning, which is what we're presenting here. Bien, muy bien pues clase. Hasta luego.